Welcome to the 97th episode of the Meeple Society, a podcast about board games hosted by two longtime role players turned avid board gamers. My name is Katie.
I'm Greg.
On this episode, we are going to pick up where we left off when we ran just a little too long on the last episode, talking all about the games that we played at the Dice Tower Retreat. The ones we liked, the ones we didn't, and the ones we ended up picking up on our way home. And this time, I promise I'm not going to be as long-winded.
Whatever.
At least I'm going to try.
Yeah, okay, that's what you say, everyone.
I know. I do. All right, so with that in mind, we're just going to dive right in to the games we played.
Yeah, because if we talk about anything else, it's going to go long.
It probably will anyway, but we're going to try. Anyway, all right, so we've already talked about the pre-retreat stuff. We talked about Wednesday. We've talked about Thursday, which ended up with Scholars of the South Tigris. So first thing, Friday morning. All right, Friday. We pre-scheduled this game. Matter of fact, we pre-scheduled this game early on Thursday to be played on Friday because we wanted to make sure we got it in. So 9 a.m. sharp, we are over in the convention center and we are sitting down to a game of Andromeda's Edge with good friends Bill and Adil and Greg Clark. And I only say his last name because I don't want him to be confused with the Greg sitting across from me. Mm-hmm. So it was very confusing having two of you in the game. So Andromeda's Edge is a very sprawling space-themed game. Now, we do own this game. We had played it once before this event, and we'd always wanted to play it with Bill because, one, I wanted to play it with somebody who was super enthusiastic about the game and loved it, and two, that knew it really, really well and could tell us if we were doing anything wrong. Mm-hmm. I'm happy to report I don't think we did anything wrong in the first one, at least not intentionally. Mm-hmm. It might have been some minor stuff, but for the most part, we played everything the way he taught us to in this play. This is a very, very sprawling space-themed game with a lot of different mechanisms thrown in. You have got worker placement, you've got tech tracks, you've got resource management, you've got some battling involved, some dice play, you've got some card play that affects the battles as well as other stuff.
Engine building.
Thank you. Engine building. And in that aspect, I don't think I wouldn't call set collecting at all, but you are building out. Yeah, I don't
there's not really any set collecting.
No, that's true. I don't see any set collecting in there. But just lots and lots of different mechanisms. So rather than try to ramble on about this, because we all know I'm very good at that, I'm going to just read a couple of paragraphs out of BGG that kind of explains the gameplay, and then we'll go into our actual play. All right, so in this game, you lead a desperate faction seeking to build a new civilization on Andromeda's Edge. You begin with only a space station, a few ships, and a handful of resources. By carefully placing your ships out, you will gather resources, claim moons, acquire modules to add to your ship, populate planets, and build developments on them. You will battle opponents and compete with others to ascend the progress tracks: science, industry, commerce, civilization, and supremacy. On your turn, you will either launch a starship or return your ships to your station. Launching sends one of those starships to a region of Andromeda, either collecting resources from a planetary system or taking actions at Alliance bases. If the region is occupied by one of your opponents or the fearsome raiders, face off in a dice battle with supremacy on the line, but where strategic manipulation can turn a loss into a reward. Returning to your station allows you to activate your engine, using the modules you've acquired to generate energy, gain resources, and carry out actions. Throughout the game, you will build up your unique faction, building developments, and gaining station modules which move you up on the progress tracks. Those are the tech tracks I mentioned. Achievement on the tracks is rewarded both during mid-game events and at the conclusion, and is key to victory. And it kind of is. Those resource tracks are a lot of points. You can't just ignore them.
Yeah, that's where you're going to win or lose the game.
Yes.
Because you could be doing all kinds of stuff, and you don't get up those tracks, you're not going to win this game.
And getting up the tracks isn't hard.
For some people.
Okay.
I barely made it up the tracks.
I got up a couple of them.
Yeah, I was stuck down in a corner where I could not go anywhere because there were so many people or things around me.
Yeah.
By the time I got into a position where I could maybe build a building or do something, because I did not have a strong enough army to go anywhere to get to, or go into another area where there's somebody at that we was going to end up battling. And I'm like, I know it only takes one higher dice than all the other dice, though, but with my luck of dice rolling, I failed miserably on almost every single die I rolled.
Okay, so the way battles are handled You have a set number of dice that you get based on how many ships you have in the region, how many developments you have in the region or nearby. I'm going to come back to the developments because those are a really neat part of the game. But developments, how many ships you have in the area, and then if you have any extra weird, some cards.
There's any
will give you
aliens
bonus.
nearby too that can.
Well, yes,
jump
but
right
that
in.
doesn't affect your dice numbers.
No.
So you gather up your dice. Everybody who's going to take part in the battle, whether it be an opponent, a player opponent, or one of the aliens, one of the, what do they call them on here? They're really gorgeous gold minis. The raiders, fearsome raiders. Because if the raiders are within so many spots, they will come and join the battle.
Yes.
They will be attracted to you if you enter an area and cause a battle. So anyway, so you're going to take your dice. Everybody rolls their dice. Highest number wins, period. Not total number. If only one person rolls a 6, that person wins. If multiple people rolled 6s, then you go to the second die, and then the third die, the fourth die, whatever. So if you have more dice than others, you're more likely to roll better. Not a guarantee.
No.
I have seen people win
It's only
with
one dice.
just one die because they happen to roll a 6 and everybody else rolled 2s and 3s.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know that I like that part of the battle, but it keeps it simple. Now there are cards that you do collect throughout the game that can help during a battle. Some of them are as simple as saying, "Hey, peace treaty," nothing happens. So there is that aspect of it too. So yeah, getting up the tracks. I seem to be doing okay because I managed to get some modules early. And when you buy a module, that sends you up the tracks, period. Every time you buy a module, you move up one of the 4 tracks associated with the modules. And then you moved up the supremacy track every time you won a battle. I don't think I moved up that one very far because I didn't win very many battles. But I also had a thing that my ships, okay, so when you lost in a battle, your ships go to the graveyard. The hardest part of it is when it comes time to call your ships back. That's when the engine building part of the game comes into play. Because as you're buying modules, you're putting it out on the side of your space station in order to create the engine you use when you start pulling your ships back. The more ships you have to pull back, the better you can run your engine because each ship activates a module. And if you activate 2 modules next to each other and you happen to have had a moon that had a resource on it in between those 2 modules, and that only works on one of the tracks, and I don't remember which one it is offhand, but you can activate that resource moon as well. So the faction I had gave me the option of when I built ships or when they were in battle, I ended up getting them back and could use them. They weren't just lost in the graveyard. And that helped me a lot. It did not seem that powerful at first until I started making use of it. And it turned out to be very powerful. So you had a total of 5 of your little triangular ships that were basically starting ships. You started with 3 of them. You could build more as the game went on. Then you had 3 other ships you could build as the game went on. The triangular ships were your basic starting ships. When they were sitting on an area that allowed the building of...
When they were on a planet.
When they were on a planet, thank you. When they were on a planet and nothing else had been built there yet, no other developments had been built, you could build a development there. And each planet had a specific development you could build, and it told you what it needed in order to be built. That was where some of the resource management came in because you were using resources to build the developments. The developments were these gray pieces, gray molded minis that fit over the top of your ship. They gave you bonuses throughout the game. You got victory points as soon as you built them based on how many leaders were still around and how many leaders, because everybody's got leader pegs that sit around the board waiting to be picked up.
And you start with some.
And you do start with a few, yes.
Because you have to have leaders to build these things as well. Because
Yes.
They have to fill the slots in it.
Yes. Yes, and there's anywhere from 1 to 2 slots in each one of them. So it is and I know I've barely scratched the surface of what is involved in this game, but we could literally sit here and talk about it all night.
Okay, well,
Okay.
we played this as a 5-player game.
Yes, we did.
Full capacity.
Yes.
This is not a 5-player game.
It probably should have been
3
more than-
players most.
Okay.
Because you were first, I was last. That is why my game was so bad. I didn't lose. Adil lost, but by the time I was able to get to the board, every good spot that was not going to cause a battle was taken. I had nowhere to go except for down the corner, and that's where I got pinned in. Because suddenly the raiders moved down towards me. I was like, great. Now
That was
what?
just bad luck, I think. It was the way the planets are all randomly put out.
Yes. But like I said, by the time the 5th player, they kind of give you a little bit as the player count goes down, the next player gets a little bit more and a little bit. I don't think it was enough to be that fifth player. Because like I said, everywhere you could get resources was taken. Everywhere you could get modules was taken.
There's 14
I had to start
spots on the board. There was only 4 taken.
I had to start on a planet and got a move.
Okay.
That was it. My next move, I got wiped out by a raider because I had no place to go. So I would never play this at 5.
Well, no, I
probably
think 5
not at
was
4
too
either.
much.
I would play 3 or less. I think is fine because it opens the board up a little bit more. It is way too congested at 5.
Okay.
I like the game. I love what it does. But at 5 players, it was way too congested, and it was an absolute horrible game for me.
See, I enjoyed the game.
I was like halfway through the game, I was like, when is this game going to get over? I'm done with this game. I do still like the game. I do still want to play the game, but I will never play this game at 5. Other than that was my only strike against this game. The game's great. I really liked the game. Just that play was horrible.
That play was rough.
Shall we move on?
All right, so the second game we got played was a game of Orbit. We sat down with Jeff Knapp and with a gentleman named Jason. I've seen Jason around at all the convention, all of the retreats. I've just never played with him. Let me just start by saying Orbit is one of those games that the enjoyment you're going to get out of it is completely dependent on your frame of mind and the frame of mind of the people you're playing with. If anybody is taking it too seriously, it's going to ruin the enjoyment for everybody else. I feel like this is one of those games you cannot take seriously. It is designed to be random chaos. And if you can accept that, you're going to have a good time with it. Start with the beginning stuff. So Orbit was published in 2025 by Bitewing Games, designed by Reiner Knizia, art by Vincent Dutrait, plays 2 to 4 players. I'm just going to read the BGG stuff on it. Come one, come all to the Silo system, the beating heart of our galaxy for the race of the decade. We've recruited the best tourists in all of the cosmos, travel-hardened explorers who will compete in the ultimate contest. These pilots must race to visit all of the planets in the Silo system, surfing among orbital paths, teleporting between hyperjump portals, and beaming through hyperspace. Enjoy your dream vacation on one of our luxurious planets or lavish space stations as you witness the ultimate interstellar marathon. All the eyes of the galaxy will be watching this decennial event, celebrating the unification of our system under the Silo supremacy. Orbit, which is short for Orbital Race Between Interstellar Tourists, is a 24th century tactical space race with simple turns yet challenging possibilities. Players compete to visit all of the planets in the system, then must return to their starting planet first. On your turn, you play 1 card, activate actions in any order, then draw back up to your hand size. Cards allow you to do a combination of things: move your ship, collect energy for bonus movements, advance planets along their orbits, or even reverse the orbital direction of a planet. Players can enjoy a randomized setup across 2 unique game boards. The game also includes a few variants, 2-player dual ships, etc. Okay. So this one every player has a board with a number of just wooden components on it, indicating all of the planets in the system. You start on your planet that matches your home color, and then one by one, you are trying to visit all the other planets in the solar system. The board is a hexagon shape, broken down into triangles. The whole board is gridded out in triangles, with all of the planets having different orbital paths laid out on the board. Your goal is to move amongst all of the pinpoints of the triangles, all of the angles of the triangles, to get into the paths of the planets and to land directly on each planet to basically satisfy that part of the race. You're doing this with card play. Now, the cards range from a couple movement. I think the highest was 4 movements, or maybe it was high. There may have been more. I don't remember now. Because I know some people were able to move 6 and 7 spots at a time. And I think it was either card play plus bonus movement and stuff. You have a little energy tracker that you can use to move an extra space if you need to. If you're 1 space shy or 2 spaces shy of landing on that planet, then great. On the cards also, though, were a series of planet colors. Some of them gave a bunch of planet colors. Some of it was just 1 or 2 planets. You would move those planets, the indicated planets, along the path, their orbital path, that many spaces at the start of your turn or at some point during your turn. I think you had to do it first, if I remember correctly. Some of the cards allowed you to fill up your energy. Some of the cards allowed you to literally reverse the path of a planet planet, turn it around, and make it go backwards in its orbit. So you were constantly moving these things out of people's way. You could see what everybody still needed. It was very obvious. Nobody's boards were secret. So you were simultaneously trying to get to the planets you needed, hopefully moving those planets closer to where you are so you could hop onto their orbit, but also trying to keep planets out of your opponent's way, to keep them away from where they could easily just hop onto it. We were laughing pretty good at this one. It was a fun game. I think I started annoying Jeff by the end of it, though.
I think a lot of people were annoying Jeff.
I think so, too.
Because he went from laughing to kind of
grumbling.
To his grumbling.
Well, and there at the end, he was set to win it.
Yes, and
he was.
We moved his planet like twice.
Yes, I think I moved it, and then I think I followed him in the game, and I immediately moved out of his way and won, something like that. But yeah, we had a good time with this. I know I won the game. I would be curious about playing this one again. I don't know if I need to own it, but I would definitely sit down and play it again. I don't know. This might be a good one for the 24, though. Like I said, just kind of random chaos.
Yeah, it was not anything like I thought it would be.
It was not. This was not what I was expecting.
I think we were like behind at one time, and Jason and Jeff were just riding around on top of each other, going everywhere they were each going, and then suddenly we jumped on each other. And
yeah, because all of the ships nestled together, so you could be in the same spot.
Okay, so as you went to the planets, you got to put their tokens out.
You took their tokens off your board as you made it to their planet.
Some of them got to be put into the board.
Correct.
But there was also tokens on the outside, on the planet itself, that you got to bring in and put on your board, and it would allow you to get more cards.
It was yes, there were tokens within
longer battery life.
Yes, there were tokens out on the board that if you crossed over them, you could pick them up and put them on your board.
Yeah, that's right. We picked them up and you put them in your board, and it was either cards or batteries.
Yes. It would either increase the amount your battery storage could hold,
right,
or increase your hand size,
right,
because you only played one card,
right.
But you start off with a hand size of 3, I think, or maybe it was 2. And little by little, you could increase your hand size. No, it was 3, because you could get up to a maximum of 6.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was fun.
It was fun.
If I can find it at a decent price,
and this is part of a trio of games, and I can't remember the rest of the games that are in that trio. But they're all kind of the same type of thing.
It's the Cosmic Silos Trilogy. System. Yeah, I don't know. All right. Well, move on to the third game we played that day. And this is another one that we own. We were sitting there with Jason. Jeff had wandered off someplace else, and we were just sitting there talking with Jason for a little bit. And somebody else walked up. Denise came up. And the 4 of us started talking, and she really wanted to try something different. Jason went and got Keyflower. We own this one, but Jason knew it well enough to teach it.
Yeah, I think she was wanting to play Keyflower.
It was one of the ones she had always been curious about.
Yeah.
And I know by the time we were done, she was looking it up to try and buy it. But I know it's an out-of-print game and hard to find at this point. All right, so Keyflower it's one of those games. It's a city building, resource management, but even though you're building your own city, you can interact with everybody else's cities. Nobody is a specific color. There's 4 colors of meeples in the game, and all the colors are shared because the color of meeples is not a person, it is an action. And I know that makes no sense. So let me start with basics. This was released in 2012, published by R&D Games, designed by Sebastian Bleasdale and Richard Breeze, and then art by Juliette Breeze, Jay Breeze, and Gemma Teglaers. All right, so this has a really unique auction system. The way this works, the game plays in 4 seasons: spring, summer, winter, fall, and not necessarily in that order, of course.
Spring, summer, fall, winter.
Yes, thank you. I realized
everybody says spring, summer, winter, and fall, and it's like that's out of order, but okay.
Yes. All right, so at the start of each season, ships come in with various workers on them, and the workers are all put out randomly. There's some tools on there as well, and you can see the ships there, but you're bidding on which ship you're going to take. You are bidding with workers that you have. At the start of the game, everybody just has the same number of workers, drawn randomly out of the bag, 3 different colors. There are also a number of tiles laid out that you are bidding on, and these tiles are various resource tiles, buildings that will do various things. They will produce resources or transform resources, one thing into something else. So everybody's bidding on these using the workers they have. Now, the bidding system on this one is unique, though. Everybody has 3 different colors, but you don't know what everybody else has. So if I put a yellow out on a ship, somebody else can outbid me with 2 yellows. But from now on, that ship has to stay yellow. Nobody else can bid a red or a blue meeple on it. It has to stay yellow. Maybe somebody else wants it. They have to bid 3 yellow meeples now. At that point, the person who bid 1 could pull their stuff back and put it someplace else. But nonetheless, that stays there. That ship can only be bid on by yellow meeples. Same with all the other buildings. And every building is dictated by the color that first touches it. You could even just put a meeple on the building to work it. Maybe I want the gold that this building produces, but I know I don't have enough people to hold on to it for the sake of keeping it. So I'm just going to put a worker on top of it to work it. I put a meeple there. I take the gold it offers. Fantastic. If I put a blue meeple there, blue is the only thing that can interact with this tile now. I have made that tile blue. Once everybody has passed or is out of meeples altogether, everybody gathers what they won. Any workers that were outbid come back to you. Any workers that won the bid go back in the bag. You lose them permanently. Any workers that were on top of the tile, whoever won the bid gets those workers. They come to live in their village. You're putting everything into your village. All the roads have to match up because that's important, because you have to be able to move the resources from point A to point B within your village to do various things, to upgrade the tiles, to get the points, to build whatever you need built, which is basically upgrading tiles. It's a pretty interesting game. It's very unique, but you play through 3 seasons this way, and then the winter season, you're still bidding on tiles the same way, but everything is straight up points at the end of the game that you're bidding on. And you're bidding on tiles that coincide with something you've already built up, ones that you hope will actually get you the points. But yeah, it's an interesting game. We do still own this one. We own a couple of the Key series.
Yeah, we have
I think we have
Keyflower
and Key to the City of London. Key to the City
yeah.
of London, yeah. I believe so. Those are the 2 we still have.
Cathedral and Key Market.
There's a bunch.
And for some reason, I didn't put 2 together, though. But when Jason was telling us about the history of Keyflower, the original name of the game was going to be Mayflower, because it's about the pilgrims coming over and building the new world.
Interesting. Yeah, I had not put that.
But because Richard Breeze is one of those, Key has to be in the front of all of his games, like Keyforge and all that stuff.
Right. You changed it from
Keyflower
Mayflower
instead
to
of Mayflower.
Well, I mean, that makes sense.
That's interesting. So
yeah, I like that. After that, we moved on. We joined up with Peter and Kristen. These are a couple of friends that we've known for a while now, several years. We play with them every year. But anyway, we sat down for a game of Café Baras, and we'll start with the basic stuff because I can actually pronounce these names. Was published in 2024 by KTBG, Kid Table Board Games. Mm-hmm. Designed by Roberta Taylor and art by Cindy Monroy. So with Café Baras, you are essentially operating a little coffee shop, and you are trying to serve customers that come up. There's a row of cards out that you can choose from, and you are looking for very specific icons. Your customers, you're looking for cards that you can either play into your cafe to become permanent icons, or that you can serve because you have those permanent icons in your cafe already. And you're purposely trying to get cards that you can make into regulars, customers that you can make into regulars, because the goal of the game is to get 4 regulars. And then that triggers the end of the game, basically. But at the bottom of every card, there are various symbols, and those are your customer symbols. That is what your customer wants. Mm-hmm. He wants very specific things. He wants a cup of coffee. He wants a sandwich. He wants a cup of tea, and he wants it to be a retro theme because every card has a theme on it. So as long as you have those pieces or any of those pieces in your cafe already, I serve coffee. I serve sandwiches. Fantastic. But I don't have retro. I have a classic theme. Okay, well, he's not going to become a regular, but I can still serve him and get a little bit of money on off of it. And then I would serve him. I would get the money I need. I would discard the card because he's no longer a regular. He's not a regular. I wasn't able to completely satisfy him. But then maybe I pick up the next one and that person wants coffee and a cupcake and a sandwich. Okay, well, I have all of those things. And look, I have a classic theme. Fantastic. He likes my cafe. He's going to keep coming back. He becomes a regular. I get to tuck him under my board, and which is essentially a card. I tuck him under my starter card, and he is now a regular. I've got one of the 4 I need. And you keep doing this. You keep trying to serve people to get the money you need in order to put down other cards to add to your cafe, to expand what it offers.
Right, yeah, because it's multi-use cards.
Yes, yeah, the cards are lots of different things.
You can either serve them just to get money, you can serve them for them to become regular, or you can keep the card. I think you have to pay for the card.
You do have to pay if you put the card down, yes.
So like the armchair is 4 coins.
Yeah.
But it gives you the classic...
It gives you the classic.
The classic setting is one of the things, so you automatically have that now.
Yep.
So if you have something that needs a classic setting and you have all the stuff up there in your restaurant to serve them, hey, there you go. Now you have that.
Yeah. It was a cute little card game.
Yeah. This was a hot game, I think, last year at Gen Con that sold out before we could get to it, because this was on my list of games to get at Gen Con last year.
Okay. It was cute. I wouldn't mind playing it again. Again, it's one of those, I don't know if I need to own it, but yet I really enjoyed it.
I don't know anybody else that has it.
That's true. I don't know anybody else who has it.
Yeah.
So,
but I had this game
cute.
won, and you guys, I had enough to get my 4th regular. You guys all had maybe 1.
I know.
And I was like, oh, I forgot all these in-game scoring points. I don't have any of these. Let me work on that. And when I finally got like 2 of them, Peter entered the game, and I was like, and I ended up losing the game. I was able to get my 4th guy, because that turned out, I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll just go ahead and do it now. Yeah, Peter ended up winning the game. If I had stopped it when I did, I think I would have won the game still.
You might have, because everybody had a little bit of end game, but nobody had the regulars.
Yeah, nobody had the regulars at all. I had no end game, though. That's why I said I went like 3 or 4 turns without ending the game, and Peter goes, well, if you're not going to do it, I am now. I'm like, wait a minute. You only had one just a few turns ago.
Yep. Now, I ended up losing this one miserably. Like, Peter had 44, you had 43. I had 21.
Oh, yeah. When I said I could end the game, you all looked at me like, what? Wait, no.
You can't do that
I was like,
yet.
oh, I don't have any end game yet. Let me do some end game here real quick. Because I was only like 1 off of each one of them.
Right.
I almost had all of them, but Peter had to end the game. So it was either that turn I was either going to get the last one or get my last. Okay. So I got my last regular instead, which I think would have cost me. It is what cost me, because I did not get the end game scoring as high as I wanted to on that one.
All right. So after that, Peter broke out. Peter wanted to introduce us to a new game that's coming out. I don't think it's even out in the States yet, called Hot Streak. He asked if we'd played it yet. We said no. This was one of the hot games at the retreat. Every time we turned around, it was out and being played. It was interesting. Okay. So the way this plays, you have the box, it's just a square box, and the board rolls up. It's a vinyl racing mat, and the board literally rolls up inside of the box. Mm-hmm. And then all the pieces just kind of slide into a little spot in the back of the box.
And the funny thing, the pieces slide in the back of the box, and it's a clear back, so you can see them. They're on display there.
Yeah. It's a neat little box. I will give it that. So you have these 4 characters, very cartoonish, animated characters.
They're mascots.
Okay. That makes sense. You have these 4 cartoonish mascots sitting on the board. At the start of the game, everybody is playing a couple of cards out of their hands. You're dealt so many cards. You're playing a couple of cards out of your hand. That will dictate how these guys are moving. And then you are betting on whichever character you think is going to win. You go through a couple rounds. You can bet on the characters. You can bet on, there was something else you could bet on too, and now I can't remember what it was.
Was somebody going to fall down? Was somebody going to end up turned around?
That's
and different stuff like that.
Right, so the cards basically advance one character or make everybody stand back up. It might make somebody fall over. It might make them turn around and move backwards. But everybody's playing out these cards to try to influence how people are going to move, how the characters are going to move. And then one by one, we're flipping over these cards and doing that kind of like Colt Express fashion. Mm-hmm. You're flipping over the cards and basically activating each card in order. It was random chaos, but we were laughing pretty hard. I actually won this game by like 5 points. I don't know how I did it. I think I just happened to vote right or to
I
bet
kept
right.
betting on Hot Dog Man because he kept moving up, and then he stopped.
Yeah.
And never went anywhere. He never won the race.
No.
And I'm like going, ugh. And then I would just like bet on the long shot of another thing. And I think I ended up with like maybe $15.
I ended up with like 70. I'm looking
I
it up
said
real
I
fast.
ended up with like $15.
I won with 70 points. Peter is the one who kind of mastered the race. Yeah, he ran it. You ended up with 24 points.
$24.
You came in third, fourth to last. I won by 1 point. So it was. I don't need to own this. I don't even know that I need to play it again.
Right.
It was a fun experience.
I think they missed their mark on this though.
Okay.
Because the way the board rolls up into the box.
Okay.
They should have had the board turned around. Because if you remember right, at the end of each round, part of the map folded up and they can't start there anymore. And if anybody's on that part of the map, they're out of the game.
Lose. Yes.
And I think what would have been easier if you just was able to just roll it into the board, into the box already. So it's actually helping you clean the game up as the game goes. But instead you're folding the board because it's a vinyl board.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they needed to turn that around that way. Like I said, instead of you flipping the end of the board over, you're just rolling the board up.
That would have been funny. Just roll them right up into the box.
Yeah. No, that would have been perfect. The doors open, it rolls up, and they go right into their slot. There you go. You're done.
Okay. Well, anyway, it was a fun game. Again, this is produced this year. Yeah. I don't think it's available still here in the States.
When I first seen this looks like a toy.
It does.
And then
it's a huge toy factor.
Because I've seen the game before we went to the retreat.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, how can this be any fun? This looks like a toy. Because I seen people that had backed it on Kickstarter.
Oh, okay.
That have it.
Okay.
And have been playing it. It's like, that looks like the most ridiculous game I've ever seen. It's a toy. Why is this so popular? And then we played it. And I was like, okay, I'm glad I played it. It was very interesting. I don't ever need to play it again.
It was fun.
It's just, but again, it's ridiculous
I think it's one of those that it depends on the people you play with.
Yeah. You can't be serious about this game.
This game is absolutely not serious. Because we were the whole cheering and rooting on.
Yeah, the whole time I was mad, I was like, sure, let's go for the long shot. Maybe I'll make some money. Maybe I'll lose my life. But
you lost your livelihood.
Yep.
Interesting game, but it's not one we need to own.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then we wrapped up that game. We wrapped up the day playing a game of Stockpile. This is a much older game with Peter and Kristen, and then Lisa and Lisa and Eric. Why was I drawing?
And this was the game we were actually setting up when somebody next to us brought the game Hot Streak 2.
Oh, okay.
And Peter goes, hey, I can teach that. Why don't we all jump over there real quick? We came back to this.
We came back to Stockpile. Stockpile came out in 2015. Now, Kristen and Peter own this, so they were able to teach it to the rest of us pretty easily. Mm-hmm. But Stockpile came out in 2015, designed by Brett Sobel and Seth Van Orden, art by, I think that's pronounced
Jackie Davis.
Yeah, Jackie Davis and Ian O'Toole. I did not peg that for Ian O'Toole artwork.
Well, it's not all Ian O'Toole, though.
That's true. Published by Navaroo Games. Plays 2 to 5 players, ages 13 and up. Roughly 45 minutes. Okay. I want to say it took us longer than 45 minutes, but we had a lot of thinking involved in this one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I am going to do my best to explain this one because I don't remember a lot of it, but this one, I don't know. I think I almost zoned out on this because it reminded me too much of work.
Yeah.
Because I work with this. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't work with the stock market, but the company I work for, it's a mutual fund company. We deal with the stock market every day. Whether we go to work or not is dependent on whether or not the stock market is open. So it just, yeah. Anyway. All right. So this is an economic board game that combines traditional stock holding strategy of buying low, selling high with several additional mechanisms to create a fast-paced, engaging and interactive experience. It's straight out of BGG, by the way. All right, so in this game, players act as stock market investors at the end of the 20th century, hoping to strike it rich, and the investor with the most money at the end of the game is the winner. Centers on the idea that nobody knows everything about the stock market, but everybody does know something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. In this game, the philosophy manifests in two ways: insider information and the stockpile. First, players are given their insider information each round. Each of us are basically dealt a card, 2 cards.
2 cards.
One card says the name of a stock. The other card says whether it's going up or down. Simple as that. So we know one stock is going to do this. We do not know what the rest of the stocks are going to do, though, and we don't know what everybody else has in their hands.
Right.
This information dictates how a stock's value will change at the end of the round. By privately learning if the stock is going to move up or down, each player has a chance to act ahead of the market by buying or selling at the right time. Second, players purchase their stock by bidding on piles of cards called stockpiles. So there is a set of cards. There are multiple sets of cards at the bottom of the board.
Here's
And
5.
Each 5, thank you, because there's 5 players in the game. So everybody's going to get a pile.
Each one has a stock or something in front of it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Some are face up.
You are going, each round, you're going to place a card either face up or face down, and the other card has to go the opposite direction.
On a different pile.
It could be the same or
That's
it was
true.
different.
I forgot. Everybody
And
had a hand of cards.
You're loading these. Once everybody plays their cards, now everybody, starting with the first player, is going to bid on a stock, and you can bid anywhere from $0 to $10. And if you get outbid, you have to take it off, and then you got to go to another one. And you keep going until everybody is done bidding, everybody is on a stockpile, and then you pay it. Then you take your stock. You get to see the stocks you get, plus any surprises of what people have put face down and have to deal with it, because some of them may be that you lost money or just different stuff.
Extra fee cards. You had to pay stock market fees.
Yes, extra fees and everything. And then all the stocks are going to go up or down depending on what you played down there to make it go up, because you have the one card that's going to let something go up or go down, whatever it is. And
right,
then you have the 2 cards
market
on the end that are going to give you a clue if something's going to happen to the stock. At that point,
what.
you don't know whether it's going up or down, though.
Yeah.
So now you can sell your stock where it's at before you find out what's going to happen.
Right.
And then what happens.
Right.
Stocks either go up or go down, or
Everybody
they crash.
reveals what their insider information was.
So if they get to the end, they said it was crash, which is not crash. I can't remember exactly what it was. The end of it was crash. If it went all the way down to 0.
If it went all the way down, it crashed. If it went all the way up, it
splits. Yeah, your stock splits now, and that way, if you have multiples of those cards, now you put them into
a special
whatever
pile.
stock you put them, because you have 2 spots on your player board.
It basically
one's
doubled
for your
the
regular
amount of stock
stocks.
you had.
If they're in that stock, they're doubled.
Yes.
But the one stock that I sold early is why I lost the game. Is it tripled after I sold it after
finally.
It doubled.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I'm going to sell it now because it's never going to go higher than this. And it continued to go up and up and up and up. And I was like, yeah. But that's pretty much the game. Is like you are bidding on stockpiles.
Yes.
The name of the game.
Which you only know some of.
You only know about half of what's going on in there. You only know what the cards are up that are up are. You don't know what the cards are down. Somebody could be sticking you with a bunch of fees. And then you're selling your stock or keeping hold of it and getting the dividends or whatever it is for them.
Right.
And it's the one who has the most money is the winner of the game. I really liked this game.
I was okay with it. Again, I'm not big on stock market games. You love them.
Yes. I don't think it's $150 because
No.
that was the cheapest I could find it, because this game has been out of print for a while. This is one that needs a new reprint.
Okay. And Eric and Lisa agreed with that.
Yeah.
So they both really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
and
I
wanted
really
to
enjoyed
find
this
it.
game. I love these kind of stock games like this.
Yeah, I know you do. And Justin would probably love this.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Justin and Jackie both would like this.
I was okay with it. Whatever. But you're right. I'm not paying $150 for it.
No.
Okay. Saturday. That was the end of Friday night. So now we are on to Saturday, our last full day of the retreat. We started off our day with a game of railroad tiles. Now we sat down to play this first because nobody else that we normally play with was down yet when we got down there, or were already engaged in other games, one of the two. And we were later joined by 2 other people, by, Mona and Alan. They both sat down to play it with us, which was good because I was happy to have a 4-player experience at this.
Yeah.
Railroad Tiles was produced this year. It was just delivered on Kickstarter. It was actually delivered in
Yeah.
September. I've already looked. It will be available October 2nd. Hint, this is one we're looking at buying. Published by Horrible Guild. I do not want to say some of these names. Okay. Designed by...
Almar Hawk?
Okay.
Lorenza Silva?
Okay.
What's so hard about that?
That's how that's pronounced, is Halmer? The J is silent, I guess.
It's Russian.
Okay.
I believe.
Okay. Art by Francisco de Benitez.
Mhm.
I don't know. And Marta Tranquilli. God, I'm horrible at names. Anyway, plays 1 to 4 players, ages 8 and up. All right, railroad tiles. This is essentially railroad ink with a board and tile placement instead of drawing. At the start of the game, there is tiles segments put out based on the number of players. You put out 1 more row than there are players. Each row on the board indicates how many tiles go into that row, 2, 3, or 4. And then everybody is choosing one. In turn order, you are choosing which row you want. It's not a bidding process. You're just putting your piece down at the row you want and taking those. The row you take, which is, again, 2, 3, or 4 segments long, the row you take will dictate who goes first next round. If you take the very first row, which only has 2 tiles in it, you're going to end up going first next round. Or even the second row, which still only has 2 tiles in it, you're going to go second next round. So turn order the following round is completely determined on which row you're taking. Once you've taken all your tiles, you have to put them into your city. The tiles have a number of features on them. There are city tiles. There are tiles with railroads. There are tiles with roads. And there are tiles with the combination of 1 or more of the 3. There are also little tokens or icons on the tiles of train engines, pedestrians, and cars. On the main board, there is a pile of tokens that at the start of each round, 1 of those tokens comes out and moves down the track. And eventually, after a couple of turns, it's pushed off the board. Those tokens dictate which pieces can be put on the board at each round, which icons will activate on your board, whether it be the pedestrians, the cars, or the trains, or a combination thereof. So you're putting all your tiles into your city, trying to match up railroad with railroad, highway with highway, and hopefully put your cities in groups of 3 because they score if there's 3 or more.
Mm-hmm.
And you want multiple cities because you want to be able to have a nice rounded board. So you don't want all your city tiles together. You want them split apart a little bit. So you're building all this out, trying to keep down your open ends, kind of like in Railroad Inc., where open ends cost you points at the end of the game. Anything over 6 open ends at the end of the game costs you points. So you don't want a whole lot of open dead ends of railroad or highways. So, I mean, that's basically the whole game. You're putting down your tiles. You're seeing which icons you can cover up with the little wooden people.
And score them.
And score them, yes. At the end of the game, you're scoring your city clusters and you're taking off points for your open ends and you're scoring your longest routes and done. It was a really cute little game. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, we like you said, we're going to pick this up when it finally hits the stores.
It's supposed to hit stores in a week.
You could probably pre-order it too from the website.
There's a few places you can pre-order it and says it's available on October 2nd. I'm looking forward to getting that one.
Yeah, this will replace the roll and write version of it.
Yes.
Because I wasn't really thrilled with that one.
No.
We have 2 versions of it, and I wanted to love this game.
I did.
But I just was not into it.
I never got into the messiness of the dry erase roll and write.
Yes. This one is so much nicer.
It's so clean.
This is what those should have been.
Yes. So we will probably get rid of our roll and write versions of this game and pick this guy up.
Mm-hmm.
It will transform. But yeah, very enjoyable game. I very much enjoyed it. All right. After that, we met back up with Kristen, Peter, Eric, and Lisa, and we played a game of Citizen of the Spark. Now, we've talked about this one before. This is one we picked up at Gen Con, published this year, 2025, by Thunderworks Games, designed by Philip Duberry, and art by Diego Sa. Plays 1 to 5 players, ages 14 and up. I want to say Eric and Lisa kind of joined forces and played as one person on this one because it only played 5. All right, so the way this one runs, you choose depending on the way you want your game to go. The back of the rule book has a number of options on how to set up your deck. So you set up your deck using cards of all these different citizens, and it's essentially a city builder, but you're building out your citizens. At the start of each round, or at the start of each turn, there is a 9 grid section of cards. So 3x3 grid of cards. On your turn, you have a choice of taking one of the 3 rows of citizens. Each citizen does something different. You are hopefully collecting citizens so that you have at most 3 of each, because that's when they are at their most powerful. After you've collected the citizens you want, you put them into your city, and then you can activate one of your citizens. It doesn't have to be one of the ones you just took. It could be any one. But maybe I'm going to activate the merchant. And the merchant is going to tell me that, I'm kind of going off memory here, the merchant is going to tell me that for every brick icon I have in my entire city, I get so many points, so many spark. But because I have 2 merchants, I get 2 spark per brick, not just 1. If I had 3 merchants, I would get 3 spark per brick. That's just the power of the merchant. But as soon as I activate that merchant, 1, I gather my spark based on how many bricks I have in my city, but I have to discard that merchant now. He's no longer in my city. After I'm done, every other player at the table in turn order can do the same thing. They can activate a merchant if they have one, and then play passes to the next player. Maybe that person is going to activate the bandit. Okay, he activates the bandit, does what he needs to do, and then discards the bandit out of his city, and every other player at the table can now activate a bandit if they have one. And it just keeps going like this until the deck of cards runs out. When the deck of cards runs out, that triggers the end of the game. And at that point, you just score up what's left in your city.
Yeah.
And whatever spark you have. Simple as that. There are some end game. There are a couple cards in there that are negatives if you have them in your city, so you want to try to get rid of those. It's just it's an enjoyable little card game. We've played this, I think, 3 times now, and I've enjoyed every play of it.
Yeah, but every time we've played with that starting
we have
group of cards.
Because
so
we've always either been learning it ourselves or teaching it to somebody.
Need to dive into it some more.
And you use 10 per game or 30 sets.
Yeah.
And you use 10 per game.
And even after you've played all the ones they say, hey, play these together.
You can randomize them,
just randomize them.
Yeah, it comes with randomizer cards.
Yeah, kind of like Dominion does. You can randomize it.
This one you can too. Cards, yeah. Yep.
It gives you certain ones you should play with if you're starting out, but you can randomize it.
Right.
Apparently, this is a reskin or a reprint.
Is it?
With a little bit of a different name, because I'm looking on BGG at these pictures.
Oh, wow.
So this is called Citizen, a customizable card game by Philip DeBerry.
Who did this one? Who is credited with designing this one?
So he redid it. New artwork and everything, because this one looks like the Justinian period.
Yeah,
and
very Justinian.
It's not icons anymore. It's all printed out. Like it says, for 1, cancel 1 flame effect by discarding the citizen, gain 7. I guess those
are supposed to be spark or victory points. Yeah,
at the end of the game, and that
interesting.
Yeah, it looks a lot better now.
Yes, I will agree.
Because as soon as I looked at those cards there, the first game that came to mind, why I said the Justinian period
was Justinian.
Is Justinian.
Yeah.
I game, agree. That god-awful game. I mean, it wasn't that bad, actually.
No.
It was, but we'll go into that
okay.
another time.
All right, from there, we moved on with the same players, Kristen and Peter and Eric and Lisa, and we played Green Team Wins. Now,
y'all played Green Team Wins. I was playing some other game. I don't know what, but
You actually were, yes. All right, so you came up with 6 points to, I want to say Peter's 20-something.
I think I was playing Boulder Dash or something. I don't know. I didn't want people to guess my answer.
Let's see. What were the final scores? You had 6, Peter had 24, and the rest of us were somewhere in the middle.
Maybe it was too many plays of just one.
Maybe you were too.
I don't want to copy. I mean, we want as many. Oh, wait, that's the wrong game.
That's the wrong game. All right, so the way Green Team Wins plays, the goal is to be on the green team. To be on the green team, you have to think like everybody else. If you think differently than everybody else, you're on the orange team, and the orange team doesn't get any points. So how this works, at the start of the game, there are 3 different topics. Actually, before I do this, I'm going to try. I missed it on one. I'm not going to do that again. This came out in 2022 by 25th Century Games, designed by Nathan Thornton and art by Matt Paquette and Company. Plays 3 to 12 players, although there's only 6 boards in the box. So I imagine with 2 copies, you could play 12, and ages 10 and up. Okay, and I find this funny. The tagline on BGG says to get on the green team, stay on the green team, and win. The goal is to get there, stay there, and keep getting points. So how that happens, there are 3 different topics in the game, 3 different types of cards in the game, I should say. There is the multiple choice. So it's called this or that. You are picking one of 2 answers. There is a best of 3 where you are picking one of 3 possible answers. And then there is the fill in the blank. Those are a little harder because they're a little more subjective. You take 5 of each topic, shuffle them all together. When the 15 cards are gone, that's when the game is over and whoever has the most points wins. So, for example, some of the question types. Best of 3. What is the best place to hang out at a house party? In the kitchen, the basement, or the patio? Everybody writes their answer down, what they think is the best answer. And then when everybody's done, everybody reveals their answer. Whoever wrote the most, whichever was the most common answer, the most popular answer, those people are on the green team and get a point. Everybody else is on the orange team and does not get a point. So if 4 people said kitchen, you got 4 people on the green team and the other 2 are now on the orange team. Then you pull the next card. So the next card says fill in the blank, candy blank. Everybody writes down their answer. This again is totally subjective because there could be any number of answers to this one.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody flips over and whoever had the most popular answers, again, is either on the green team now, you flip over to green and you get a point, or if you were already on the green team, you stay on the green team and you get 2 points. But if you were on the green team and you didn't get the most popular answer, you flip over to orange and you lose your status. You still keep all the points you had, but you don't get any more right now. So if 3 people wrote candy corn, because it is getting into fall, popular answer, then fantastic. Those people are all on the green team, provided they had the most common answer.
Mm-hmm.
The third one was a this or that. And it was something like we had one in the game that said bagels or donuts.
Yeah. And you were going to write down bagels.
I wrote down bagels because at the office, everybody likes bagels. Everybody but me wrote down donuts.
Yep.
So I lost my green team status. I thought it was a lot of fun. We were laughing. It caused a lot of debate.
Mm-hmm.
We were constantly going back and forth going, no, that's wrong. Mind you, there is no wrong answer on this. It's all subjective. It's all personal taste or personal preference, or there literally is no wrong answer. It was fun, though. We had a really good time with it.
Y'all did. Although this whole time I've been trying to find this picture. I know I got a picture of it. The end of the game. Apparently, I was on the green team because we all held up the token we were on, the team we were on.
Okay.
And I was holding an green one, but I can't find it. It's probably still on my phone. I was looking for it in the Google Photos, and it wasn't there either.
Okay.
So.
Well, if you're watching this on YouTube, I will post the picture here.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lot of fun. We were.
What was the scores?
Peter won with 24. Eric had 19. Lisa and Kristen tied at 18. I had 12, and you had 6.
Mm-hmm.
You and I do not think alike with everybody else. Just saying.
We don't think alike, period.
Well, this is true. We thought this would be a lot of fun on the 24, so this may be one that gets pulled out sometime in the wee hours of the morning on the 24. Like we did pick this one up on. Oh, actually, no, we had already had this one. We picked this up at a Barnes and Noble at some point beforehand. This was our copy that we played. So yeah, this one we'll see some more play.
Mm-hmm.
All right, after that, Kristen, Peter, Eric, and Lisa went off to play what ended up being a 12-hour game of Luthier. We did not play that.
Good thing.
I don't think
because they were wanting us to come in and play it.
I'm kind of glad we didn't.
Yeah.
We ended up joining Raphael and Kat. Not the Kat we talk about all the time, different Kat. We ended up joining Raphael and Kat for a game of Sprocketforge. They were sitting there trying to figure out the rules, and we had already played it, and I remembered it well enough to skim the rules and teach it. Sprocketforge was released in 2025 by Sophisticated Sybaris Games, LLC, designed by Ananda Gunartani. I'm sure there are some silent letters in there. Art by Tyler Edlin. Plays 1 to 5 players, ages 14 and up. All right, so this one is it's an engine building, resource management,
contract fulfilling.
Yes. All right, so with this one, the tagline is build your factory, rotate your gears, complete your orders. That pretty much sums it up. All right, so in this one, you are building out a factory of 5 gears. You start with 2 gears and 2 insets to those gears. And I don't remember what they're called now.
We kept calling them wheels.
Enchantments.
But
They're enchantments.
Yes.
So you start off with 2 gears and 2 enchantments in those gears, which essentially are tiles that tell you what each sprocket of the gear does. Simple as that. Throughout the game, you are adding more gears. Well, the gears are on your board already, but you're adding more enchantments to the gears, to the other 3 gears on your board. You could disenchant a gear and get rid of it and put a new one down if you find you need something different. But each enchantment gives you various options in resource management and storage. That's essentially it. Each gear either produces resources, lets you grab resources from somebody's exhausted pile, lets you get rid of your own exhausted pile so you have more room to store stuff, or it lets you just flat out store mana you can't use right now, which is the resources. So on your turn, you are rotating at the end of your turn, you rotate your gears every time. And then you have a few options from there as to what you can do. And everybody has a player board that details out what is possible. So on your turn, you have 3 options. You can produce, which means that you can resolve all of the active mana symbols on your gears, and the active mana symbols are the ones pointing down. There's a small window on the bottom of each gear that shows you what piece of that gear is active at a specific time. So you can resolve all of those, which could mean gaining mana. It could mean cleaning up some mana. It could be a storage spot that you can pull off stuff that was previously stored. You can plan, which is to remove some exhausted mana. And I'm going to come back to the exhausteds. And you can take some orders. There's a lot of cards laid out with 3 different decks that you can take orders from, because that's how you get your points. Or you can petition, which means you can petition a house and to gain a favor, basically, to gain something from one of the houses by discarding a favor. Favors are things you pick up by filling orders that are worth anywhere from 1 to 3 points. And you know what they are. It's not like you're discarding them randomly. You can get rid of some of your 1-pointers to hopefully pick up more points. Game ends when one person hits, I want to say it was 35.
Yes.
Could be wrong. I think it was 35.
Something like that.
Points. Okay, so with this one, you are doing what your action is, what you choose to do, and then at the end of the turn, you're rotating your entire gear set. And when, of course, as with gears do, when you rotate one, everything's going to turn. Everybody else, this has that follow mechanism in it, which is becoming very popular in games now. But it has the follow mechanism where whoever's turn it is gets a stronger action, but everybody else can do a minor thing. You can gain 1 mana of any type, or you can rotate your gears so that you can get to where you need to be. Whereas you get to plan, they can draw a random order, or they can rotate their gears, or they can remove a mana. Exhausted mana, this is where kind of that management comes into play, because as you are filling orders, you don't just discard that mana that you used. It goes into your exhausted pile, and you can only ever have 12 in there. Now, there are icons on the board that let people take from your exhausted mana. And the first time we played that, I thought, oh, that's bad. I'm taking your stuff. And then we realized, no, that's good.
No, that's good.
You
You're
want to
clearing
clear
my
that
board.
crap out. Yes. Yeah. So you don't mind taking it from people. People are like, no, take mine. Take mine.
Right.
So you want to keep a variety up there so people will come and grab what they need. So I really enjoy this game. We picked this up at Gen Con. And
this is one we've seen a few years ago.
We did.
It was just a demo. It was just before it went to Kickstarter. And we thought, oh, this is one we really should look at.
Yeah.
This is one, though, that has an upgrade for it that is extremely expensive.
$70.
It's the exact same price as the base game.
Yeah. And that doesn't even include the upgraded resource tokens.
No, those are $45. Ugh. But $70 for the metal sprockets.
Which I admit were nice to play with.
Yes, they were.
Maybe if we play this a lot more, we will talk about by next year. They will probably be at Gen Con next year.
If anything, I wouldn't mind picking up the resources instead of the cubes. I really liked the resources.
Cubes. They were cut out wood pieces.
That's true. But I did like the upgraded resources because they fit more in the little
they do.
Holding zones or whatever you want to call the empty spaces, storage spots on your sprockets.
Yeah, no, I agree there. I would not mind picking up those, but we'll see what happens by Gen Con next year.
Now, we were blamed for letting people know about this game.
We were.
From one of our listeners.
Yes.
Sorry about that again.
I hope you've enjoyed playing it.
We still like the game.
We do still like the game. I do want to. This is another one I would like. This is one I would love to teach Justin. Teach Justin and Jackie. I wouldn't even mind teaching Doug and Mary. Might even enjoy this.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see. All right, we're going to move on because I noticed we're already running long. Next game we played that night was Tea Garden. We were wrapping up this game when we started the game exchange. But we played Tea Garden. Tea Garden is one that we do not own. I wanted to try it. It has been very big at the last couple ladies' nights, so I wanted to try it out. This was published in 2024 by Albie. I don't know who published this one. Capstone Games is probably here in the States.
Yeah.
That's the only one I recognize. Okay. Designed by Thomas Holick, art by Barbara Serp-Ziskova. Okay. Plays 2 to 4 players, ages 12 and up. So again, I'm going to probably read the overview on this one. We played it the one time and we were very distracted. And I remember enjoying it. I don't think it's one I need to own, but I would like to explore it some more. I may have to see if I can get it.
Yeah, this is one of those games that you start off with just a base set of cards because you could buy cards, but you got to have a certain amount of things for it, though. And when you start off, you're like getting maybe 1 or 2 actions in the first turn, and there's only 5 rounds.
Yeah, it's a very...
In the first round, you're getting maybe 2, maybe 3 actions.
Yeah.
Because as you buy a card, it goes in your hand, not in your discard pile. Right. So it could, if you buy a card that round, you're going to get an extra action, possibly, if you have the stuff for it, though.
Right.
It's one of those like Everdell where in the first round, you're like, going, I'm never going to get anything done.
But by the end of the game...
By the end of the game, it's like, going, I got way too much stuff to do here. And why do I have so many tea leaves? And what else can I do now? And you're taking like 10 actions on one turn. And it's like, wow.
I think the most you can ever do is 5. But
that was an exaggeration.
I know, it was an exaggeration. But the strength of your action is dependent on the cards you're laying down.
Yeah.
And by the end of the game, you've got more cards in your hand and they're stronger cards.
Yeah.
So therefore, the actions are stronger and bigger.
Yeah.
But you are gathering tea leaves. You're putting out buildings in order to produce your tea leaves. You are getting points based on the regions you're in. You are traveling down the river and getting points that way and picking up more tea leaves that way. And there's a rondelle up in the corner that you're going around that gets you more things.
It's almost like a tech tree down in the corner where you're going up and you're going to get different things, but you got to pay a certain amount of stuff. And the higher you go, the more you have to pay and the better the rewards go.
The more I talk about it, the more I really want to try this out. But I don't know. We have so many games we don't play now. I hate to pick up another one that is just going to sit there.
Hopefully soon to be rectified.
Yes, I know. I don't know. It was very interesting. I kind of want to play it one more time to see if I really want to buy it. So I may have to see if somebody at Ladies' Night.
Well, I would like to play it again too, and I can't play it at Ladies' Night.
No, you can't play it at Ladies' Night. I wonder if we can get it. Somebody will bring it to the next BGI day.
I don't know.
We can ask, or maybe we just need to go out and buy it. Sounds like we might be picking this one up. Okay, yeah. All right.
This one, like you said, it has so much areas to go in.
There is. It was like Everdell. There's just so much to do. Yeah. There's no way to do it all.
I don't know if the river needed to be in the game, though.
That was the area I was focusing on.
You move up and you get something.
Yeah, you get some resources out of it.
Once you get up to like the 4th area, then now you're getting in-game scoring points.
Right.
But it's only like 1 at the first one, then 2, then 4, then 7.
And the river was never a primary action. It was always a secondary action. So when you laid your cards down, there were primary actions you were doing. But whichever card you laid on top, because there was numbers up in the top of the cards that dictated the strength.
Yeah.
Whichever card you placed on top gave you your secondary action. And that was where I always got my river actions from. I always made sure that river action was up top because I was getting a lot of resources off that river. So, but that was also where the rondelle was at and where the going up that side track
Well, it also had your
and
tea kettles on there that you needed to buy
the
cards with.
Yeah, so you had to be very picky about what card you were playing out on the top of your stack because that dictated what your second action could be, your secondary action.
Yeah, and then there was the cards on the side of the board that was goals, I think they were. Get.
I don't remember,
or in-game
to be honest.
scoring. I don't remember what those cards were.
Yeah, I don't know. We may have to pick this one up and report back on it because it was intriguing enough that I definitely want to explore it some more. All right, moving on. One of the games I picked up in the exchange, my second one, I'm up there glancing around, couldn't find anything. It was really interesting. And then back on the back corner, just laying all by itself like somebody had forgotten it back there, was Tacta. And I remember Jeff Jeff talking about Tacta on one of his ratchet episodes multiple times. And I told him to bring it with him because I wanted to try this game and he forgot it. It was like it was fate. So I grabbed Tacta. And then that night, right after the exchange, we were still sitting there with Jeff. Eric joined us and the four of us played Tacta. We broke this open and played Tacta. Now, Tacta is a up to 6 player game. We actually got a little promo set that could make it 8. We're going to end up giving that to somebody, though, because after playing at 6, we don't need to play at 8.
Well, yeah, because, the colors, though, too, are really close to some of the colors.
The two
in
blues
the
are very,
6.
very close,
Yeah.
yes. Anyway, so Tacta was released this year by the Op, designed by Jason Tremblay. No artist or graphic designer listed. Plays 2 to 6 players, 7 and up. This is a set of 6 cards. That's the only thing in the game is a set of 6 cards. All the sets are identical. The only difference is the vibrant colors on them. They are black cards with very vibrant colors on them. And the colors are all various shapes on the sides of the card with pips on them. And the pips are your points at the end of the game. The goal is you are laying these cards down in a very strategic way to cover up part of somebody else's card. But when you lay it down, you have to make sure the shapes and the lines all match up. And it's hard to explain without looking at a picture. And if you're watching this on YouTube, I will absolutely put some pictures down of our 2 plays because we did play this twice. But you are very strategically laying down over corners and over various areas to make it look like the cards are blended together. And then at the end of the game, you count up all your points, and whoever has the most pips still showing is the winner of the game. It is a really neat game. Small package, huge game.
Yeah.
Lots of strategy in this and where you're laying down to protect your points because you can't cover up other cards just arbitrarily. You can only cover on the areas allowed to be covered. It is a really neat game. I very much enjoyed this. So I'm glad we
definitely
picked this up.
different. I'd seen this for a while when it was first coming out, and I was like going,
yeah.
What are they doing in this game?
Yeah.
Because normally I can look at the game and it's like, okay, it's this type of game, this set.
No.
This one I'm like going, is that the game that you just throw the cards out? Because at that time I didn't realize that the way they were laying, the lines were lining up. So it's like the card is just laying on top of it. It was just looked really weird. And I'm like going, And then you picked it up. We got to play it. Like, okay.
It's a neat
I understand it now.
Yeah.
This makes sense now.
Yeah. It's a good one. So we did play that with Eric and Jeff. And later that night, we left. We got some dinner, very late dinner, came back over. At this point, it is close to midnight. Why we came back at that point, I don't know, but we did. So we sat down with Eric. We wanted to do something else last night of the retreat and then ended up getting joined by Matt, Root Shirt guy. But we played The Captain is Dead. We wanted something that was light and fun.
And we knew how to teach.
And we knew we could teach it just without even having to look at the rules. This was it.
Yep. We have played this like 16 times, it says.
We have played this a lot, yes.
It says 16.
Okay. Well, there you go. And we've probably only won about a third of those if we're lucky. The Captain is Dead is a cooperative game built for up to 7 players. It came out in 2014. Now, the version we have is the old Game Crafter version. AEG published it, I don't know, several years back. It's been a little while now. But we have the old version from 2014. Like I said, plays 2 to 7 players, ages 14 and up, designed by Joe Price and JT Smith. Art by
Gaetano Leonardi.
There you go. Scott Nicely and JT Smith. Now is being published by AEG. Alderac Entertainment
It has
Group.
3 other publishers listed. Whoop.
One of which is the Game Crafter, which is where we got ours. Yes. Okay, so with The Captain is Dead, the board depicts a ship with a number of different areas on it. And at the start of the game, everybody is picking one character out of a color group. Each group has 2 to 3 characters in it. So there is a lot of possibilities on what your characters can do. Oh, how cool.
She's responding to a picture.
Yes, that is awesome. Anyway, I'm going to...
You're not going to explain it.
Well, okay.
You just, oh, cool.
The picture... Okay, so the pieces in the game are just little standees that replicate the card art. It's very angular card art.
In the AEG version, they're a little cheaper than the Game Crafter version.
Yes.
AEG, they're clear plastic with the decal on it.
Yes.
Game Crafter, they're just black standees with a sticker on it.
They're just more flimsy.
Yeah, they're a lot more flimsier.
Yes. The picture he's showing me, somebody has created
Star Trek miniatures.
Star Trek miniatures.
Like cartoonish, chibi kind of.
Those are hysterical. Anyway, on this game, you are essentially playing a crew member of the starship. The captain is dead. You have to get the warp core engaged so that you can get out of there before all of the aliens that are trying to get onto the ship destroy it, before the shields are gone and the ship is blown up. We have had some very hysterical games of this, and this one was no different, especially playing it at 1 o'clock in the morning. By the time we finished, it was close to 1 o'clock in the morning. We lost. I will tell you that. We did lose. The idea with the game is that on your turn, you have anywhere from 4 to 5 actions, depending on the character you are playing. And you are trying to use various skills in various rooms on the ship to either keep the systems running, to repair the systems that have been broken, or possibly even to recreate the systems that have been blown up. A little harder to do. Ultimate goal, like I said, is to get the warp core engaged, which usually takes a little while because it takes multiple actions. It takes specific resources you have to get a hold of.
It depends on what level of game you're playing.
Yes. We have yet to ever play a level beyond normal because we can't win normal.
Right.
Because it is just that hard sometimes. It's a super fun game. If you've never gotten a chance to play this, if you like cooperative games, it is a chaotic cooperative game that is just fun. It is one of those games you have to take with a grain of salt. It is very lighthearted, and it's meant to be. So, but that was how we wrapped up Saturday night, just with a crazy game that we lost of The Captain is Dead.
And the first play for Eric and Matt.
First play for Eric and Matt, yes. Sunday morning, we sat down with the second game I picked up. Actually, it was the first game I picked up from the exchange, but we sat down with Canopy Evergreen and got a chance to play it again with Eric. This one was very similar to the card game of Canopy, but a little more deluxe. When I picked this up, it was wrapped up in a brown paper bag with just the words Canopy Evergreen Deluxe Edition on the cover. Of course, that got my attention. Anyway, this was released last year, 2024, by Weird City Games, designed by Tim Eisner and art by Vincent Dutrait, 1 to 4 players ages 10 and up. With this one, very similar to the game of Canopy, you have piles of cards in the center of the table that are turned down, and on your turn, you have a choice. You have an opportunity to look at one pile at a time and decide whether you want it. If you don't want it, you add a card from the deck to it, and you move on to the second pile, and you do the same thing. If you don't want that pile for your tableau, you put it back where it was, and you add a card to it, and you move on to the third pile. If after the third pile you still don't want it, you just take a random card from the top of the deck.
Yes.
But meanwhile, those piles are growing, and the next player does the same thing. Difference with this one is that now instead of just 3 piles in the center of the table, every player, kind of Seven Wonders Architect style, every player has a pile to their left and to their right. And then there's one in the center. So you have access to the pile on your left, the pile in the center, the pile on your right. And you're looking at them in that order and deciding if you want them. If you don't want it, you add a card to it, you move on. Same concept. Once you've decided you want a pile, you take all of the cards in that pile, you put one card face down from the deck into the center or into the pile you just took, basically. You put it replacing the pile you just took. And you put all of those cards into your tableau. And the cards could be any number of things. They are growth cards. They could either start or continue to grow a tree or possibly top off a tree. They are various point cards, very foliage and fauna cards that will add points to your game. There are animal cards. Well, there are animal cards that are a side deck that you can pick up. Yeah. That is part of what expansion is on this one, or what the deluxe part of this one was. But this one has, versus the normal card game where it's just the cards you're playing out, it actually has a board. The board has a number of tokens, and everybody has the same set of tokens. They're just randomized on how you put them down. And when you are building your trees with the growth cards, now you actually have a 3D version of a tree that you are slowly building up with it's basically all cardboard pieces, but you're building it on your board. And as you complete trees that are surrounding the tokens now become more icons in your forest or in your tableau. So you can use those permanently for the rest of the game to complete sets on the cards that you're using, the cards that you've got. I thought it was a lot more engaging than the base game of Canopy.
Yes, it is.
Just that board adds a lot to me.
Yeah, because it makes you feel like you have more
agency in what you're doing.
Yeah. And like you said, you get those permanent
abilities
on your board
icons.
as you're building your forest. Although I didn't build a forest, I just built a little bit of a couple trees here and there.
Yeah.
You and Eric had a forest going. I just had a couple trees out there.
Yeah. I had a very short forest. Eric had some tall forest.
I was focusing on scoring points with my cards more than I was worried about that board, I think, though. But
yeah. I enjoyed it. I do want to play, and I get why they did the cardboard. It's fine. The whole game is sustainable. There's no plastic in this at all.
No.
There's wood, screen printed wood, and cardboard.
Mm-hmm.
We have the deluxe components from Earth. They would substitute very well into this. I'm curious to play with the deluxe components from Earth one time. So at some point we'll have to do that. The tokens that go on your board were wood, and the animal meeples were wood.
Were they?
Yeah. That was it. Everything else was cardboard.
Not being wood. I thought they were all cardboard.
No. The animal meeples were wood, and those were wood. The tokens that were on your board were wood. And, of course, the scoring tokens, those kind of things. Anyway, so that was Canopy Evergreen. We are going to go ahead and get rid of the standard Canopy because I feel like this replaces it and just adds a little more to it.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. The next game we played, at this point, they were starting to pack up the library. We'd brought our own games down, so that was okay.
We brought our own games because we knew why play a game off the
shelves
library, because you knew it was going to get packed up probably before you could even finish one.
And I'm glad we did, because Lightning Train ended up taking longer. By the time we finished Lightning Train, my back was to the library.
Yes.
And I turned around at one point and they were starting to pack it up. I'm like, oh, we should probably get up and go help. But oh, wait, it's my turn. Let me take my turn. And then I turned around a few minutes later and they were gone.
Yeah.
I mean, like, the whole room was empty. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, Mike DeLisio talked about on Sporadic Boards that they have that down to a science now.
Well, yes, they do.
On many times past, a lot of the people from the conventions or the retreat would come up and help pack. But that was back when they had to box everything and then move everything out. But now they've got it down to a science where they just have to wrap it. Anyway, they have all the new covers for the shelves now with the little stitch number on it, not the little piece of tape with the number on it now and everything.
Yeah.
And they have enough people in the staff now that they were out the door.
I mean, I was shocked because, like I said, I turned around and all 25 shelves were packed up.
Yeah.
And then I turned back around a few minutes later and they were gone.
Well, then Sharon comes in and goes, the Dice Tower has left the building. And she walks out and I look over there and Jason Levine's sitting there playing the game. I was like, yes, perfect.
That was great. Yes. Okay, so anyway, we were playing Lightning Train. You sat out on this one. You just kind of sat there and helped me with rules.
Yeah, because you had 3 other players that had not played, and it's only a 4-player game.
Right. Eric wanted to play. Jennifer and Michael wanted to play. Matter of fact, Michael's the one who asked us to bring it.
He asked for us to bring it so we could teach him.
Which was good because the
Lightning Train was always off the shelf.
Exactly. You could never find it on the shelf. Somebody was always playing it.
Yep.
So we taught them Lightning Train, and we have talked about Lightning Train in the past. This is a train building, route building game. You are managing, it's a deck builder, or not deck builder, I'm sorry, it's a bag builder. You're putting tokens into a bag and every turn pulling those tokens out until your board is full. And as the game progresses, you've got more spots that open up. So you start off with just 5 available to you. And by the time you're done, you probably have 9 potentially.
Mm-hmm.
So you're pulling from your bag, you're getting your tokens, you're using those tokens to hopefully build routes on the board, but you're also using them to gain contracts. You're using them to possibly do explosive expansions so that you can get through some of the mountain areas.
Build stations.
Yes, because you've got to build stations in order to deliver stuff. Because that's the end goal, is you are wanting to build the routes out to get things delivered.
Yeah, plus you're upgrading your board to get a little bit extra actions, like going public. Now, when something happens, you'll get this.
You get victory points and stuff. Yeah, so it's an interesting game. I really enjoy it. So far, all of our games have lasted a while. This one took a couple of hours because 3 players had never played before. And if I remember correctly, Michael ended up winning this. No, Eric won this
Eric
one.
won it. Mike was having problems because he wasn't getting rid of his initial contracts.
Yes. And it kept clogging up his board.
He forgot
to get rid of them. those are the only contracts you do get rid of.
Right.
But he was forgetting to shed stuff.
Mhm.
So he was the first person to get a station out, if I remember correctly. But after that, it stalled.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I thought it was a good game still. But yeah, Eric definitely came back and won this one. I came in second. But yeah, it was still a good game. Anyway, so we did get that one played. After that, we have the room until 8 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
However, it was getting close to dinner time. So we invited all three of them, plus Ven, who was sitting over there with he had walked up and had kind of joined the conversation toward the end of the game. So we invited all four of them back to our villa to just relax, eat some dinner, play some games. Well, they had all ordered dinner. They were getting ready to order dinner. So they did that, and then they just brought the food over to the villa and ate. Meanwhile, we went back and had leftovers because we needed to clean out the fridge from all the stuff we didn't want to have to take home.
Right. Plus any frozen food that Jeff had left.
Yeah, we had some frozen food that we couldn't transport home. Yeah. So that was our dinner that night.
So we gobbled it up really fast.
We did. So they came over, ate their dinner, and we sat down and played a game of Spectacular. Now, Spectacular is one that they owned.
Yeah. And I said that I wanted
Michael
to play
and
it.
Jennifer, yes, and so did I.
So Mike said he'd bring it.
So Michael brought it over, and Jennifer and Michael taught us how to play it. Michael actually won his very first game of it.
Yes.
He was so proud of himself. He was so happy he beat Jennifer finally because she always wins this one.
Which in our eyes, though, was a bad teach because he taught Jennifer taught the game. That's right. Okay.
Michael just interjected on a couple small things, but Jennifer taught it. We sat and played this one. Now, this was an interesting one. It is a tile placement, dice placement. Yeah, that's pretty much the whole thing. It's an open drafting.
Yeah.
Okay, so at the start of the game, everybody has their set of tiles that are specialized to them. You have a board that one side of your board is asymmetric, the other side is everybody's the same. And depending on the game you're playing, we ended up playing the asymmetric side, I think. Anyway, so you've got all these. You've also got 8 dice, 2 of each color. There's 4 different colors in the game. So you start off with 2 of each color, randomly rolled, and put on your board. These are ones that you're going to be drafting throughout the game, but only you have access to. And then everybody else has basically a conveyor board that is going to rotate around the table that has 4 more animal tiles on it, and anywhere from 4 to, I think in the first round, it's 4 dice. In a low player count in the second round, it's 8 dice, but in a high player count, it's still only 4. This one, again, has 8 items on it. So you are, on your turn, you are picking one item, whether it be an animal tile or a dice, off of the rotating board, and then one off the sideboard that only you have access to. And you're grabbing both of those items and putting them into your zoo. The goal is
more like a sanctuary.
Sanctuary. Okay, that makes sense. You're putting them into your board. The idea being you're wanting to match up all of the different 4 terrains, and you want a breeding tile in there because these terrains don't score if you don't have a breeding tile. And they're all different animals. You ultimately want to try to get as many animals as you can because that is points at the end of the game.
There's 17 animals?
There's 17 possibilities, yes. I think there's 16 animals in the game, and then your start animal, which is different from everything else, counts as the 17th animal. And that just starts pre-printed on your board. So you're taking all this in, you're matching up your tiles, hopefully, and you're putting dice on those tiles. Each tile can hold 1 die. Depending on what it is, determines the number face that can go on it. Ultimately, you want them to be higher because that's how one of the ways you're scoring points anyway. Like your start dice, your start tile can only take a 6 of whatever color that tile starts out to be. That's it. So a yellow 6, a blue 6, whatever. All the other dice, all of the other tiles, majority of them can only take 1 through 5 unless something happens, and then you could possibly raise something to a 6. The breeding tiles can only take a 1 or a 2. That's it. So you're trying to manage the dice you have that only you can touch, and those get rolled at the start of the game and they never change. And then the tiles, there's a small stack of tiles, and you've only got 3 visible to you at a time, but as you place them, more come out. So you will see those. By the end of the game, you will have completely cleared off your board, and then you will have a total of 15 actions off of the central board, the central rotating board. 8 in the first round, 7 in the second round, and then the game is over. I found it pretty interesting. It is a neat puzzle. Now, we played it that night. We've played it once since, because this is one we picked up on the way home, because we both very much enjoyed it. But it is a really neat puzzle to try to make everything work out perfectly to account for that scoring. Meanwhile, there's also 3 missions you have on the side of your board that give you extra points if you can make them work. And this, like last night, I had one that said have 4 4s that are all touching. Dice faces of 4, but they all have to be consecutive. They have to be touching. Whereas you had 4 3s that nothing could be touching.
I had 3 3s.
3 3s? I thought it had to be 4.
Maybe it was 4.
Yeah.
I thought it was.
I don't know.
Anyway.
But it was things like that. And I had one that said, have your lion surrounded by one of each other color tile, by 3 other habitats.
That's the one I had the first time.
My lion was the last tile to come out. That wasn't happening.
Yeah, my lion was the first one out on the board.
Yeah, mine was the last one. Mm-hmm. So I did. By that point, I had given up even trying to find him. And
I had one on there that my highest dice pip count on a color dice had to be 13 points or greater than the lowest pip count on a color of dice. And I totally, I was going off just the pip dice on the dice.
Not the score.
Said the total score. And I was cashing in. Green was going to be my low score. Yellow was going to be my high score. I had yellow at 18 points total. And I had green, which I thought was at 4. I was like, great, I got it. And then forgot the multiplier, which is
the
breeding tiles. And all 3 tiles I had in green were all breeding tiles. So I lost it.
So that was
just because
instead of 4 points for green,
I didn't think it completely
12.
through and said I shouldn't have had any breeding tiles in the green.
Well, you would have had to at least had 1, or you would have gotten a 0.
Exactly.
But then you wouldn't have gotten it. You at least got 12 points out of it instead of 20, which the tile was worth. The mission was worth 20 if you could have made it work. But I know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But I went all breeding tiles.
You did.
And completely forgot about it. And I'm like going, I got 1. I got the cheap, the easiest one, the least amount of points.
Yep.
And you got the 2 highest ones.
And did not get the least.
And didn't get the least one. Yeah, you beat me by almost 40 points. I beat you pretty good
last night.
39 points spread there.
The one we played at the retreat, Michael won. But we did enjoy it, and we picked it up on the way home, and I did enjoy last night's play. I really like the puzzle of this one.
It's not one you cannot... just disregard this over here. I'm not even going to pay attention to this. You got to focus. Everything has to be focused.
Yes.
Because I thought I was doing really good because at the end of the game, you get a certain amount of points for each different type of animal on the board. So you're trying not to get multiples of one type of animal. The first game, I forgot that completely, and I had maybe 6 animals on my board.
Right.
Everything else was almost all of them were duplicated, so I got very little points there.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I thought I had at least 15 different animals on my board, then realized 2 of them were multiplied and were multiples, and then I discarded 2 tiles because I didn't think I could play them, and I was like, well, I'll just get rid of these because they're already on my board. Mm-hmm. So I could have gotten, and I was running out of places to put dice too.
Oh, yeah.
So I kind of screwed myself on that game.
There were mistakes made last night. Okay.
Big time.
But still a great game.
Mm-hmm.
I want to try this one out. It actually has a solo mode, so I may have to try that out sometime. I don't know. We'll see. All right. After that, we broke out Tacta because it was one of the few games we had that would play 6 players. We've already talked about Tacta. I'm not going to go back into it again. This time again, Jennifer, Michael, Ven, and Eric. We had a great time with it. Very, very strategic, and we were running off the table several times. Mm-hmm. After that, Michael, Ven, and Jennifer all left. They all had early morning flights at this point. Eric was not tired yet. He hung around, and Kristen and Peter came over. They had just gotten back from dinner, and we were going to try and play a game, but we didn't have anything that played 5-player. Mm-hmm. Peter ran back to his room to grab something that played 5-player. But was taking so long that we broke out summer camp in the meantime, which played 4. We'd picked it up for Ben, but we broke this out because we wanted to show it to them. Neither of them had ever heard of it or played it. Kristen and Eric had not. So we played a game of that. By the time we finished summer camp, Peter was sound asleep. Poor guy. But summer camp is a very light deck builder that we just love the theme of. Mm-hmm. Having been in scouting for as long as we both were, We were both camp counselors. Both of our boys were camp counselors. We both spent a lot of summers at camp.
Not all at the same time.
No, not all at the same time. Of course not. Or at the same camps.
Right.
So.
Only Eric and Justin were at the same camp at the same time.
Yes. Well, that's because they're both, only 4 years apart. We were in 2 different states. Anyway, it's a very light deck builder, and we wanted to introduce this to Eric and Kristen, and we did have a good time with it. So you pull out with summer camp. The idea is you pull out 3 of the 8 topics.
Mm-hmm.
Like we had
the merit badges, man.
They're merit badges. I'm sorry. Well, they're still sets of cards and merit badges, and we had like games and arts and crafts and something else. I don't remember what the third one was. We pulled out, so we pulled all these out, and the idea is you are using the cards to progress down various trails toward the merit badges. And the first person to make it to the end of the third trail, all 3 trails, wins the game or triggers the end of the game. And at that point, you start counting points. Kristen won this one by a long shot, if I remember.
Yeah, well, she won it because they're big Dominion players.
Yes.
And this is like a mini Dominion game.
It really is, yes. But before I forget, Summer Camp came out in 2021 from Buffalo Games, designed by Phil Walker Harding, art by Adam Grayson. Grasson. Adam Grasson. Plays 2 to 4 players, ages 10 and up. But like I said, it's just a super light, fun, very thematic card game, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we've always had a good time with it. The components are great. The cards are a decent quality for an inexpensive game that was sold at Target. Yeah. We've always enjoyed this one.
Game, I'm always the slow kid. And slow kid meaning I'm always the kid dawdling behind everybody, trying to catch up. It's like, wait, guys, wait. But I'm not going to run. I'm not going to walk fast. I'm just taking my sweet time.
Yes, you are.
Because I think I got 1 merit badge. I didn't get any of the special awards going over the bridges because I was always the last one to cross the bridge. But
you had 21 points at the end of the game, so yeah, probably.
Yeah. What was the scores?
Kristen had 55, Eric had 41, I had 36, and you had 21. So we taught it well, apparently.
Okay, so I got some other merit badges then because 21
You must have at least gotten 2, but cards also had points on them.
Oh, that's right. Maybe that's where I was getting.
So
I was building my
points.
deck and
yeah. It's a good game. I enjoy it.
Yep.
So, but that was the last game of the night. At that point, Peter had fallen asleep sitting in the chair waiting for us to finish because he'd come back. They headed back in the middle of a horrendous thunderstorm.
Yeah, they said lightning struck right in front of them as they just got into their car.
Thank goodness he had brought the car over when he came over because it looked like it was going to start raining. So
it was pouring.
Well, yes.
When he came back, it was raining, I thought he said.
I think it was just starting to when he came back. So he had brought the car because he'd brought several games back with him. Little did we know we wouldn't end up playing any of them because he fell asleep waiting for us to finish.
I thought he only brought the one back, something about pigs or something like that.
Yeah, I thought he'd brought a couple. But anyway, he left him in the car. So yeah, all in all, great retreat. Lots of fun. We will definitely do the villa again next year. I think it definitely paid for itself. I liked having the versatility of being able to cook my own meals. Well, you being able to cook our own meals.
I was just saying, wait, who cooked?
Meals. I didn't cook meals. I liked that versatility. I liked having the full freezer and the garbage disposal and the dishwasher and all of that stuff. And the full table. Just having a table we could come back to and just sit and relax at was nice.
So this is going to do it for episode 97. If you like this episode or any of our content and haven't subscribed to the podcast, please do so by going to iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. And while you're there, give us a rating and comment. This is how others can find the show. But in the meantime, if you want to follow us on social media just to keep up and see what we're doing, just follow the link in the show notes. There you'll find links to Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, YouTube, Threads, Discord, Blue Sky, and our merch shop. Or you can contact us directly at meeplesociety@mail.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you at the next one.